Kelvin Sampson's Houston Cougars will play host to Florida State this Saturday. I'm Tanner. That's Subi. Welcome back to Sleepers Media. Here's another preview video. So Houston, 7-1, now ranked number 8 in the AP poll. A little bit of a fall from grace, one could say, after preseason expectations. But it's just because of these weird games that they've played in so far, right? Like beat Auburn by one, needed overtime to beat Syracuse, lost to Tennessee, only beat Notre Dame by 10. Not really like it's not exactly Houston-esque basketball. Normally they smash these teams in the non-con. Florida State 5-3. Now, I want to start on the Florida State side of things because I love this team. I adore this team. I love new head coach Luke Locks. I love the pace and space, fun and gun offense they're installing. I love Robbie McCray, who I think is he's one of my favorite dribble creators in the sport. Also, I think he's sporting a 47% assist rate, third nationally. I'm also a lifelong Martin Somerville defender, elite on and off ball guard, former UMass Lowell Riverhawk from my beloved America East. They also just have a boatload of shooting around those two. Chauncey Wiggins can work in the role. He can work in the pick and pop game as a stretch five. Legie Jones and Kobe McGee are lights out catch and shoot guys. The defense is the issue. I thought it would be sketchy in general, but they're trying to run this like man-to-man full court heavy on-ball press. And guess what? Georgia and Texas A&M just shredded them for a combined 70 transition points. Florida earlier this season went for 26, but with their backcourt issues, they also turned the ball over 18 times, which allowed Florida State to stay in the game. So any team with like kind of a remote athletic advantage is going to shred the Seminoles in transition and also in the extras, on the offensive glass, at the free throw line, so on and so forth. And hello, Houston. I mean, this is probably the team that you don't want to let dominate you in the extras, right? Houston doesn't turn it over. They smash the offensive glass. They don't get out in transition a lot, but they're typically deadly when they do. Shout out Kingston Flemings, who has looked phenomenal in the early season. 18 transition possessions this year, 32 points. That's 1.78 points per possession. And again, you're not going to get out in transition against Houston also. And Florida State lives in transition. Florida State in just half court offense this year, they've scored 0.89 points per possession. That's 38th percentile. Scored 0.53 points per possession in the half court against Texas A&M, 0.70 against Georgia. So, I mean, I hate to tip my hand, but I'm worried about Florida State. I don't think they'll be able to play their game here. What are you seeing the same things? What do you see with this game?
Yeah, the very first thing that stands out to me, Tanner, is tempo. The opposing styles. You alluded to it, of course, but if you look at these two teams, Florida State wants to get out and get going. Houston wants to grind you down. And so you want to ask and you want to be fair and you want to say, hey, can the Noles impose their game? Can Houston drag the Noles to the depths of the abyss, right? The dark blue water. I'm probably going to put my money on the Cougars doing that and Kelvin Sampson having his way against essentially a rookie head coach. And I love Laux too. Don't get me wrong. I think the brand of basketball that the Noles are playing is fresh. It's exciting. It's fun. And that's no disrespect to Leonard Hamilton, who is an all-timer.
It's really refreshing after he kind of sort of sunk down. Like I got really sick of those last few years of Leonard Hamilton ball.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks in Tallahassee did as well. But again, no disrespect. Like Leonard Hamilton is a legend for those guys. But it's an incredibly exciting brand of basketball that I hope they try to continue to play. Like I hope their identity is so strong where they're saying to themselves, I don't care that we're going on the road against one of the best teams in the entire country, despite their ranking. I don't care that we're going up against a team that was minutes away from an NCAA title, that's been to a couple Final Fours, that's known for their gritty defense. I want to see Florida State continue to play that game because at the end of the day, Tanner, I don't think they have much of a chance in this one regardless. And I'm sure if the coaching staff is thinking that way, then they won't. But I don't know. There's got to be something to be said here about using this as an opportunity with a young team, with a team that or a culture and identity that you're trying to develop, where you say, I don't care that we're playing Kelvin Sampson and Houston. This is what we are teaching you. This is what we're going to try and translate into the ACC, which will be easier than Houston on the road. Let's continue to run and gun. I just don't think it'll yield results in this one. But yet again, Tanner, like who has been able to gain results against this Cougars team.
Yeah, especially on the road. But I will look the bullish argument for Florida State. I do think that there's kind of a path here. And it's really that McCray and Somerville handle Houston's ball screen blitz and then create a ton of weak side catch and shoot opportunities for their shooters. Because Houston is going to they're going to bring two to the ball and then rotate on the weak side. They will give you those shots. And if McCray and Somerville are able to handle and they will be out athlete. Like they are going to be, the pressure is going to be intense on them on the road too. But there is a path for them to create enough offense that way. And I mean, I'll ask you this. Like, again, Houston just has not looked like the typically dominant team in the last few years. Like in that Syracuse game, Houston dominated from behind the arc. They shot like 42% from three and then just barely stole that game. Uh, Notre Dame shot 6 for 28 from deep in their game against Houston, and Houston won by 10. I mean, you lose to Tennessee by three, only beat Auburn by one. Are you worried about Houston? Any red flags coming up?
I don't know if I'm worried about them. And what you'll get to know about me is that I don't like making big, big sweeping generalizations here before Christmas. I actually like to wait until early February or so. But I'm not worried about Houston just because of their pedigree, just because of who their head coach is, just because of who their personnel are, especially led by Emmanuel Sharp. Right. I'm not worried about them just yet. However, as it relates to this particular game, and you want to talk path, I do think that their play as of late um, might yield a path for Florida State. Like they haven't put a quality opponent away it what seems like a long time. And I don't know if Florida State's a quality opponent because on the flip side, Tanner, like they look so good against Florida, but then their last couple times out against power teams, they get absolutely run off the floor.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
so like Houston can do that to you.
yeah, and that's the problem with this game, right? But my hypothesis about Florida State was in the preseason, I kind of thought they would be like DePaul and Chris Holtman's first year, which is like, all right, new, fun, fresh form basketball, which is totally going to dominate lower end teams like they did against Alcorn State, Alabama
Yeah.
State, Tennessee Martin, Georgia Southern, Cal State Bakersfield. They just dominated those teams. But then they play up and they're not as athletic enough and they're trying to play a style that is predicated on athleticism. And they just get destroyed by these high major teams. And I think that in ACC play, they'll ultimately struggle. But I think that they will, like, you're going to end this season being like, hey, you know what? Florida State, not a bad first year. There's a path here for success going forward. In
No,
this
I think
game,
that's fair.
I don't know what's going to happen. I would say also I'm not that worried about Houston as well,
Yeah.
partially because of the freshmen. Like the freshmen are going to get better, right?
I mean, I said led by Emmanuel Sharp, but yeah, Senac and Kingston Flemings have just been tremendous. They are going to get better, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think. Look, if you can't put faith in Houston to quote unquote turn it around, what are they still a top 10 team?
Yeah.
They have what, one loss, right? I
Yeah.
know they
One
haven't
loss.
looked great, but this is how we're talking about Houston. These are their standards. I don't think there's any reason to panic just yet. But I'll tell you what, and I'm not trying to get super off base, but they lose to Tennessee. Syracuse beat Tennessee. There's a little triangle there,
Yeah.
isn't there? Right. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. But hey, real quick, Tanner, I wanted to squeeze this in. I want to play a little trivia with you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you name their team leaders, Houston's? And I'm going to get to a greater point here. Let's start with points.
Flemings.
Emmanuel Sharp. That's okay.
Sharp. Okay.
Rebounds.
Tugler.
He leads them in blocks. Rebounds is Senac.
Okay.
Assists.
Uzan.
No,
Oh
Flemings.
my God. Over three.
It's okay. It's okay. This I have a greater point here.
All
These
right.
are good guesses. And steals. Do you know who leads them in steals per game?
I'm going to say Sharp again.
That's all right. Fine. That's totally fine. It's Isaiah Harwell.
Okay.
How many names do you think we just rattled off there?
It was a different leader in every category, right? Yeah. Team
The balance
basketball.
is crazy.
Yeah, that's Kelvin Sampson ball too. That's what he does.
I mean, I just wanted to highlight that you look at all of these teams, at least one guy is leading in multiple,
Yeah, in multiple
two.
categories. I
These guys
I
just
thought that guy
everywhere.
was going to be Uzan this year, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to kind of become like the alpha leader, like who was their point guard last few years?
Not Jamal Shed.
Yeah, Shed.
Shed. Okay.
You can say Shed. Anyways, the point is, I kind of thought he was going to be like the leader, the on-ball alpha, and he hasn't needed to be. There's just so many different guys that they play all the way around. Let's get to predictions. Final score predictions. You go first.
I'm going to take the Cougars here, 74-62. A relative. I don't know if they want to consider that a pedestrian score, but I just think the way both of these teams have been playing, Florida State when they go up a notch, and now they're going to be on the road. Houston, I haven't seen them be able to just recently blow out a team. I think a 12-point delta is kind of fair here. I'm going to take the Cougars to win 74-62, and really just they're gonna
Squeeze the life out of this
strangle out.
game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm going to say something similar. So I project this game a little over 20. Houston minus 20, 144 point total. But I do think Houston's going to rely on that defense and do what you say, just strangle the life out of the game. So I will say 76-60. I'll go right around you. We'll see who gets that right when we do our recap video on, I believe it'll be Monday. Thanks for tuning in, and check back into the Sleepers Media podcast feed, YouTube feed for way more previews, recaps, and all sorts of other stuff.